Here is a vital component that every film needs. Movie endings. A kind of pasta that very rarely sticks in an industry of slippery, wet walls. The cinema industry. Here's the thing. A good movie ending is crucial because a good movie ending has the power to deeply impact and resonate with, well, you guessed it, human emotions. Humans crave resolution and closure in their stories, and a well-executed ending can provide that emotional catharsis. It can leave us feeling fulfilled, uplifted, or even moved to tears. A strong ending can also stay with us long after we've exited the movie theater, sparking discussions and debates among friends and family, and your cat, dog, pigeons. Moreover, a memorable ending has the potential to become a cultural touchstone, a reference point that binds people together through shared experiences and emotions. Take the final season of Game of Thrones, for instance. Well, many Game of Thrones fans collectively mourn over what the show could have been and what it now is and isn't. Moreover, a good movie taps into our innate need for storytelling and enables us to connect with the characters and their journey on a profoundly human level. Another thing when it comes to movies, there are certain endings that leave an everlasting impact on our hearts, minds, and souls. These endings are so beautifully crafted that they evoke a roller coaster of emotions, leaving us breathless, contemplative, or even perhaps shedding a tear. They possess an intangible quality that resonates with our deepest human experiences and taps into the essence of what it means to be alive. In this exploration of unforgettable movie endings, we will delve into what those movies are, and I'm going to be talking about my personal list of movie endings that I, Mark, would never change for the world. You know, give me $1 billion, and I'm not going to change the ending of any of those movies, because those are the endings that are the most dear to me, and if they're changed, then I would get very, very outraged. First movie ending I would never change, the ending of The Godfather Part 3. Okay, so the thing is, I'm not a big fan of The Godfather Part 3 as a movie, but I did particularly enjoy the Part 3 ending because I think it was consistent in many ways. And the ending of The Godfather Part 3 is a culmination of years of the Michael Corleone's character development, his complex relationships and moral dilemmas. It presents a bittersweet resolution that encapsulates the tragic nature of the Corleone legacy. Michael Corleone, played by Al Pacino, finds himself in the twilight of his life, haunted by the consequences of his choices and consumed by immense guilt. And I think that one reason to preserve this ending is the profound exploration of the price of power and the weight of one's actions. Because throughout the Godfather trilogy, we witness Michael's transformation to a ruthless mob boss. The final moments of the Godfather Part 3 film bring forth a moment of reckoning where Michael faces the consequences of his decisions with the death of his daughter. It serves as a poignant reminder that even in a world driven by power, there are no easy escapes from the choices that we make. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, the ending of The Godfather 3. Even though The Godfather 3, it wasn't a good movie on its own, the ending was what kind of made up for a shitty first and second act. let's move on to the next movie ending, shall we? The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King's entire third act. First and foremost, unlike The Godfather, the Lord of the Rings trilogy is my favorite set of movies of all time, ever. Its emphasis on the physical and emotional toll of an extensive journey, the most epic battles in all of cinema, the Battle of Helm's Deep, and the Ride of the Rohirrim. So, I mean, of course, I would never change its ending, for it is a testament to the cinematic craftsmanship of director Peter Jackson and his film. Frodo Baggins, Samwise Gamgee, Aragorn, and the rest of the Fellowship undergo long journeys, facing personal trials and tests of character along the way, especially with, the mental toll and the dangers that the ring that Frodo must, hold until he casts it into the fire of Mount Doom are real. And yeah, the ending of The Return of the King, like when we see Sam, Frodo, Pippin, and Merry pull up to the Shire with fancy clothes, allows us to behold the character's growth and transformation. To alter this ending would not only be a big disservice to the incredible set of Lord of the Rings films that, built up to that ending, but it's a huge disservice to J.R. Tolkien, a fine contributor to just literature. He changed how we perceive stories and how, it inspired the cinematic masterpiece manifested in the landscape of Middle-earth. And that's all because of Tolkien's book, obviously, because that's the story that the movie portrayed. Another ending I would never change is the Deathly Hallows ending. Now, it's not as, I'm not that crazy about the Harry Potter ending as I am of Lord of the Rings, but I liked how they resolved the story arc for the Elder Wand. Like, instead of having Harry Potter keep it, he destroys it, and then there's a 19 years time jump where there's nothing but a happy ending. No last minute twist, tragedy, loose plot holes, which I feel like most of those endings want to try their luck. They want to be like, okay, you know what, like Avengers Endgame, okay? They could have just resolved every single plot thread. But then they had Thor join the Guardians, and then, okay, so we know that in Thor's movie, we're going to see the Guardians are setting that up, or making Valkyrie the king of Asgard. Then it's like, okay, well, now we know what that's going to set up. And Captain, Falcon getting the shield. Yeah, that's going to set up a show. Like, we already know, like, what was being set up, even through the ending. But the Deathly Hallows didn't make me go, what if there was a spin-off sequel for the Elder Wand? Because that's been destroyed. Or, what if there was a spin-off for Draco? Well, he's already been, redeemed. So there's no need to continue Draco's story. Like, there's no need to continue the story. Which is why I'm very disappointed that The Cursed Child is actually a thing. Even though it's not a movie, it's still, somehow canon. Even though it's not, it's just something with J.K. Rowling's name on it. Anyway, what I'm really trying to say, my rambling aside, the Deathly Hallows ending is perfect the way it is. And I like how that it's everyone all grown up. Harry gets married to Ginny. Ron and Hermione get married. Surprise, surprise. They all have kids, including Draco, who's again a reformed character. It's perfect. Perfect to the minute detail. Alright, so that was the Deathly Hallows ending. Next ending, Star Wars The Return of the Jedi. Okay, so where do I even begin with that movie? It has one of the best cinematic endings in filmmaking. Obviously, Lord of the Rings was first place, but it's still like Star Wars Return of the Jedi, top 5 ending for sure. The redemption of one of the most genocidal beings in the galaxy, Darth Vader, and the source for his son Luke's psychological turmoil when he reveals that he is his father in Empire Strikes Back, and the guy who killed Obi-Wan in A New Hope and helped oversee the development of the Death Star that destroyed Leia's home planet, Alderaan, the Emperor's right-hand man, and yet he is redeemed because of the love for his son. And it's wonderful because, as George Lucas would like to say, it's poetry. It rhymes. The audience shifts from how can someone like Darth Vader be Luke's father to Luke is a Jedi like his father before him. And I see many people not pay attention to the Return of the Jedi and misconceive the title as quote unquote Luke just returning in the beginning of the movie, so hey, the Return of the Jedi. But no, the actual meaning of Return of the Jedi is not merely Luke returning or even Luke's story arc as a Jedi being resolved. The actual ending and the meaning of the Return of the Jedi is how Darth Vader fell from grace in the most tragic way and has committed so many, war crimes, acts of terrorism. But then he returned as a Jedi in the end, after he oversaw Palpatine's first death. Yeah, if you consider the disgusting Star Wars sequels as canon to the lore. I obviously don't, so yeah, that's the one and true ending of Star Wars. So there's that. Unless you bring George Lucas back on board, then maybe he can come up with another ending that's not Disney-fied. Anyway, now I'm going to ask you guys who are listening to this podcast, what movie endings do you think shouldn't be changed? Whatever it is, let me know in the comment section below or our Twitter inbox at Cinema Courtroom.